Why is that night still echoing through the fandom? How did a split-second interaction during a simple live broadcast become one of the most dissected, replayed, and argued over moments among fans worldwide? How could one tiny gesture, barely a second long, turn into a storm of confusion, anger, and endless debate? But the real question is this: why did Jungkook do something fans described as crossing a line? Something that brushed against Taeyoung's personal boundaries in front of millions watching live. Was it a careless joke? A moment of impulsive comfort? Or something deeper, something never meant to be seen? Fans everywhere began wondering, is the bond between Jungkook and Taeyoung going through something? Is this tension a misunderstanding, a clash of emotions, or the moment a long-hidden issue finally surfaced? The night began normally. Taeyoung sat relaxed, smiling, while Jungkook was in his usual playful mood. Everything felt lighthearted until Jungkook leaned in, laughed quietly, and made a small but startling move toward Taeyoung's clothing. Taeyoung's reaction was instant. His eyes widened. His posture locked up. His head jerked slightly, almost instinctively protecting himself. It wasn't playful. It wasn't teasing. It was a flash of shock. And in that millisecond when their eyes met, the air changed. Jungkook froze. Taeyoung looked unsure. The room fell into a quick but sharp silence, one that didn't feel like part of a joke. Within minutes, social media was in chaos. Clips spread everywhere. Some fans said it was harmless. Others insisted Taeyoung looked uncomfortable, that Jungkook had crossed a boundary he shouldn't have crossed. The shift that followed wasn't immediate. It came slowly, subtly. Taeyoung stopped looking at Jungkook the same way. His glances carried caution, and he kept just a little bit more physical distance than before. The light, easy playfulness that always defined their dynamic seemed to dim. Backstage clips showed Taeyoung subtly stepping away when Jungkook came too close, not dramatically, just enough for those who paid attention to notice. Jungkook changed too. He seemed gentler around Taeyoung, more controlled, less chaotic. He looked like someone who regretted a mistake and didn't know how to fix it after the entire world had watched it happen. An insider later revealed that after the live ended, the two stayed behind in the practice room longer than usual. No one knows what was said, but the mood was described as heavy. Taeyoung left first, expression unreadable. Jungkook followed later with his head down, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Their behavior outside the incident shifted as well. Taeyoung became more guarded and more selective with what he shared. Jungkook grew quieter and noticeably nervous whenever Taeyoung's name came up in interviews. During one interview, the members were asked about embarrassing recent moments. Jungkook laughed nervously, touched the back of his neck, something he does when anxious, and didn't answer. At that exact moment, cameras caught Taeyoung looking away. Why did it affect them so deeply? Was it truly just embarrassment, or did the moment reopen an old emotional bruise? Did it bring back something unresolved between them? Their bond has always been known for its depth, years of shared growth, hardships, comfort, and trust. But closeness can also bring vulnerability. One wrong move can hit harder when the person who crosses the line is someone who matters deeply. Perhaps that night touched something emotional, unspoken, even symbolic. But even amid the tension, signs of healing began to appear. Weeks later, they were back in the same frame. Their interactions weren't what they used to be, but they showed effort. And effort means care. If nothing mattered, neither would try. Still, the incident didn't fade easily. It lingered. It reshaped things. As time went on, fans noticed a new rhythm in their behavior. Jungkook became quieter, more distant in group interactions, not because he had nothing to say, but because he seemed lost in thought. Taeyoung stayed warm, but there was a gentleness that felt carefully controlled. His laughter was softer, his smiles more measured. And whenever Jungkook was near, Taehyung's expression shifted, just for a moment, into something unreadable. During a rehearsal, the group practiced choreography requiring close formation. Usually, Taehyung and Jungkook synced effortlessly. But that day, something was off. Jungkook hesitated, stepping behind Taehyung. Taehyung stiffened when Jungkook's hand moved near his shoulder. Their timing felt cautious. One dancer whispered, "They're walking on eggshells." Weeks passed. Tension turned into something quieter, woven into tiny moments. During interviews, when another member teased them, Jungkook smiled nervously, while Taehyung subtly checked his reaction before responding. To the untrained eye, it was nothing. But fans who watched them for years could feel the difference. What happened after that live ended? What was said in that room? Insiders whispered about a long, emotional conversation. No shouting. No visible anger. Just heaviness. Words held back for too long. Jungkook reportedly stayed alone in the practice room afterward, leaning against the wall in silence for minutes, looking torn, like someone deciding whether to chase after someone or let them walk away. Taehyung left quietly, deep in thought, as if carrying a secret he couldn't share. Then came the cryptic posts. Jungkook wrote on Weverse. "Sometimes you don't feel the weight of something until it's too close." Minutes later, he deleted it. Shortly after, Taehyung posted a blurry sky photo with the caption, "Some things need time." Were they connected? Fans believe so. Performances after the incident felt more emotional. During one concert, Jungkook subtly turned toward Taehyung as the lights dimmed. Taehyung didn't look back, but the corner of his mouth softened, just enough to reveal something unspoken. The members seemed aware too. Jimin often positioned himself between them during lives. Namjoon joked about keeping certain members in check, but the look he gave afterward carried seriousness. Jin watched quietly, stepping in only when the energy shifted. Yumi stayed observant, calm, making sure nothing escalated. Some fans believe Jungkook acted out of familiarity or unspoken emotion. Others think Taehyung reacted due to personal pressure, fatigue, or long-ignored tension. Maybe the incident wasn't just physical, it symbolized something deeper between them. Yet healing started showing. At one event, Jungkook accidentally brushed Taehyung's hand. Instead of pulling away, Taehyung let the touch linger for a heartbeat. Later, during photos, Taehyung stood slightly closer, shoulders almost touching. Small, subtle signs, but enough to spark hope. Over time, the tension softened. Taehyung's smile around Jungkook returned, carefully at first, then more naturally. Jungkook relaxed too, finally breathing easier around him. Still, the mystery of that night remains. Some moments don't fade quickly. They echo. They transform relationships. They force conversations long avoided. One thing is clear. That night changed something. And that change has become part of their story.